Today we have Destin with us. And Destin, this is say hello, everybody. But Destin was so kind as to jump on the phone with me or the Zoom with me and just tell us a little bit about his story. It's very cool because, like a lot of people, Destin, I think, thought he had to take the normal route, which is go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job. And he'll tell his story here in a second. But eventually, Destin had learned about tech sales, and tech sales is just exploding. And he is now working from home, working remotely, which I know is the dream for a lot of people. So I'm going to have Dustin just share with us a little bit about where he was, how he got there, what it's like. So first of all, Dustin, thanks for jumping on, my friend.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell me, so I know obviously a little bit about your story, but I want everybody to hear about it. So tell me, why did you go to college in the first place? I know you dropped out, but why did you go?
Yeah, my dad, he works in the oil field and whatnot. He's pretty like the top dog for in that field for where he works. But I remembered I was like, I don't that's always a backup plan. Like I can always plan B if anything else fails. I have that as an option. But I went, all right, that doesn't sound the most exciting to me. I want to do something on my own. I want to make my own name for myself and find something like I might have a passion in. And so then I thought about it, and at first I went, it'd be pretty cool to be like a school counselor for like high school students.
Yeah.
And so I went, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go major in psychology. So first semester, I'm going to go major in psychology. Absolutely hated it. So I came back home, and then I was going to be like, all right, I'm just going to work jobs for now. And my mom said, why don't you just go to community college? Like it's 15 minutes away from the house. At least you can get something.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, for sure. And this time, because I'm a very big tech savvy person, I said, okay, well, let me do computer programming because I've already done some computer programming classes in high school. And I also said, let me like do a splash of IT.
Yeah.
So that's what I went for. And then at a certain point during it is when 2020 hit, which shocked the world with the big C. So it ended up messing me out a lot of my classes because a lot of professors didn't know how to make the jump from in person to online. So I said, screw it. I'm done with it. Completely done. So I had from then on, I had a couple jobs all throughout, like differently. I worked at a vape shop. I had another one where I worked at a bowling alley. I had another one where I did HVAC work. And during the HVAC work, being in a hot and sweaty attic, 100 something degrees, I live in New Orleans, so it's very hot. And I remember one of the really stressful days, I couldn't do something, and I kept trying at it for like 30 minutes, and I just got so annoyed, and I was just sweating. I ended up like throwing up. I ended up going to one of the porta potties nearby. I just started throwing up.
Oh.
Thankfully, one of the office assistants were there to like come drop some stuff off. So I rode back with her, and then right there I just went, I don't think this is for me. And immediately got back home. I grabbed my laptop. I was like, I'm gonna take a bath. So I jump in the bath. I have the laptop next to me, and first thing I looked up was online or office jobs. And then at the time, Course Careers, which we'll probably dabble into in a bit, they had started doing advertisements and marketing for their education learning path. Then I was setting up meetings to talk to Troy. Again, we'll talk about. I was calling him, I was messaging him, jumping in on the Discord to find out more and more to find out if it was actually. Turns out it was. And this laptop you saw go off is my work laptop, and I work from home doing tech sales stuff.
So you said that after this HVAC deal, by the way, I know those porta potties can get really hot in the summertime. They call them like the death box or something like that.
Yep, you got
it. Yeah, you don't want to be in one of those. When you went home, you said you searched office jobs. What did you search? Did you search remote work or?
I think it was a wide field. I remember doing office jobs nearby. I think even then, that's when only Course Careers had popped up. I think I even after that searched remote jobs and something that I would like. And because tech sales has been blowing up, that was most of the stuff I was seeing. And I went,
so you didn't type in tech sales directly. You just were looking for job opportunities, a way to work from home, a way to work remotely, and tech sales was something. So you had not heard about tech sales prior to just seeing an ad or seeing something pop up.
I knew about it, but it wasn't something that was like on the top of my mind. Like, that's what I'm going to go do. But I did find it. And
so what was it about the opportunity that you liked? What drew you in? What made you want to pursue it?
A lot of it because of I had somewhat sales jobs before, working at a vape shop, trying to make sales, I was the front counter at a bowling alley, so I'm nonstop dealing with customers and making sales on lane, shoes, etc. I thought tech sales, I'm very big into technology, grew up on a computer. I think one of my like earliest achievements I remember is being at like 5, 6 years old, typing the whole alphabet in 2.7 seconds. And so I was like, okay, this is ideal for me. And I already have a bit of sales experience. So when it came to job hunting, I'm sure they would take that into consideration.
Yeah. So now you went through the tech sales training with Course Careers. Did you feel that in order to get a job in tech sales that you needed to take this training?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. You definitely, with right now, I would say as long as you are willing to put in the work and you can display that, a lot of job opportunities, all the hiring managers or whatnot, are definitely going to keep an eye out on you. But in
Yeah.
terms of what Course Careers provided, it was a 3, 4 month program which you would have learned at 4 years in college. So
Gee.
it was literally just, a Disney World. You got your Disney World fast pass. You could skip the line, and that's what basically it was. And yeah.
So the training or the boot camp, I know a lot of people call them different things, tech sales training, tech sales boot camp. So they're teaching you the skills, obviously, to be successful, right, in tech sales. Now, what about with job placement or anything like that? How does that work? Do they help you find jobs or do they partner with people? How does that work?
Yeah, they do partner with companies. They say, because specifically in the tech sales I was going for was an SDR, a sales development representative. And so they did have partnered companies saying, hey, you want SDR interns? We're training a bunch of them. We can work a deal. So they do have a partnered company, and they have a bunch.
Okay.
But on top of that, they even train you on interview skills.
Oh, cool.
They help you with finding potential job opportunities out there. And they went into it with, they had a whole Google sheet, and they're like, okay, here are the companies I want to go for. Here are your A list, your B list, your C list that you want to work at in terms of which ones you actually like the most. And scheduling phone calls. Like, hey, I made a phone call this day. This is what happened. So they help you all throughout that too, in case one of the partnered companies
Yeah.
doesn't want to take you in, that you still have something like a net to catch you.
So the training kind of sets up sort of a roadmap for you to help you take what you've learned and go out and land a job. That's awesome. So take me through, what are some of the typical things you would learn in the training?
At first, I think it was 3 books they wanted you to read. That some of it, How to Win Friends and Influence People, just a typical thing a salesman should know: communication skills, how to make them want to stay on the phone or even
Yeah.
book something with you. I think it had Fanatical Prospecting, which again talks more into the sales, and Spin Selling, same thing. Then from then on, it went on to, okay, here are some key terms and definitions that you're going to probably hear a lot in the SDR or the tech sales field.
Yeah.
A CS, not a CSM, but like a CRM, like Salesforce and Zoom Info, and then even went into nitty gritty stuff like ROI, return on investment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I ended up making a Quizlet, and I shared it with everyone in that server, that in the Course Careers. I think it was close to 100 terms.
Okay.
And then after that, it went down to, okay, here's what you're going to be doing a lot of your days. You're going to be doing cold calls. You're going to be cold emailing. You're going to be prospecting. And then each one of those things, they broke down into their each individual own section, saying, okay, what even is this? What does it look like? They explain best practices on making a phone call. They even have, sorry, excuse me.
All right.
They even have groups now. Back then, for me, it wasn't, it was very still growing. So it was more individual, kind of personalized.
Yeah.
But you have role playing sessions with these people where you're saying, okay, look, I'm going to pretend to be YouTube, and I'm going to try to cold call you to say, hey, you should come on our platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you practice, and it goes throughout a lot of the tech sales things. And I'm probably doing a poor job explaining it all.
That's
but
all right.
It,
That's all right.
it was an amazing experience, and it turned out for the better.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely want to get into that in a second here, because I know everybody wants to know. Okay, great. So, how did you get a job? How do you get a job? How much can you make or expect? One thing my question is for people is, I know you don't need a college degree to go through this training to be successful in tech sales, but is there anything you can tell or anything that you can share with us that would make somebody, I don't know how I want to say this. Is there any specific type of person, or do you need any specific type of background or skills, or can anybody do this as long as they go through the training? I'm not telling people they have to take training, obviously, to be successful. Is there a specific type of person, or is it anybody can do this if they have the willingness to learn?
Exactly that last bit. It doesn't matter if you've come from a background of working in an auto body shop, or you come from a background in real estate, or even my background where I was all over the place.
Vaping and bowling.
Yeah, and yeah, and so it doesn't matter. It's really just about more of your personality, your character. Are you driven? Are you
Yeah.
gonna work hard? Because the one thing, tech sales, it's still being sales. It's not set in stone that something's gonna work out.
Yeah.
You could make 100 phone calls in one day. You're gonna have days where no one picked. The next day, you make 100 phone calls, 10 of them picked up, and you got 10 conversations. The next day, seven. So it's all about just you have to keep going at it. You have to have a resilience because a lot
Yeah.
of people will maybe just hang up or you can't find anything. At the same time, you don't want to be stuck in your ways with, oh, I'm a hard worker. Like I know what I'm doing is best. No, don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
If someone is saying, hey, look, you're doing a phenomenal job, but tweak this one thing about what you're doing and let's see how it works. And
Cool.
don't be annoyed by it. Like just try it.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, like if you're, what's that old saying? Keep doing what you always do. You'll keep getting what you always get or something
Yeah.
like that. And it's so true. Also, if you've been trying something a certain way for so long and you're not where you want to be in life, then it's time to shut up and listen. Listen to the people who have what you want in life, what they're doing, and then do it. It's really not rocket science. And there's so many great opportunities right now for people. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. It doesn't matter where you went to school or didn't go to school. Those days are over. Those days are over where you're not going to do well in life because you didn't go to college. And you hear all the time, I'm the first member of my family to go to college, which is great. But you don't have to go to college anymore. You really don't. You have to have some drive. You have to have a willingness to learn. No matter what you do, college or not, you have to work hard. That's just the bottom line. So tell me about, I know you said you got an internship. Now, was that internship through the training with Course Careers? Did they set that up for you or how did that work out? And then
So
this kind of
yeah,
a two
sorry.
part, that's all right. Sorry. And this kind of a two-parter. And then what happened with did that internship lead into a job or how'd that work?
Yeah, with Course Careers, they have their partnered companies, and from then on, it's very detailed with, okay, they want just straight up an SDR, or they want an SDR intern. It says, where they're located. There's usually a link to their website or something where you can dive into them, see if you really like them, and then you have your, put in an application button. Just because you put in the application doesn't mean you get the position. You still have to go through the interview process.
Yeah.
But because it's a partnered company, they're gonna lean to you a bit more. But that being said, they can't take in everyone. If they only have 2 spots, they're gonna fill in those 2 spots with the 2 best people for the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I applied for my company, Know Before, which I was very surprised I got it because it was the first company I applied for. I think that even the only one I applied for, because I was like, all right, I want a response before I started putting all my eggs in different baskets first.
Sure.
And then, I got the internship. It was a 3-month internship. Went through with that. And then even during the training, was what really surprised me to why I got the position. They have a study with all the people that have applied and they have had interviews and people who've gotten hired. The success rate of people getting hired is like 0.5%. And they said that it's harder to get into the company I work for than to get into Harvard.
Oh, geez.
Statistically. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went through the 3-month process for the internship. And it was like, okay, now you have your manager and they do like your performance reviews and whatnot. And my manager gave me glowing reviews. They do in a number system. So 1 being the worst, 3 being the best. You have 12 different categories. She gave me a glowing review, but she was like, okay, look, I would love to have you a part of the team full time, but you still have to apply for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went, yeah, cool. A part of it was that I lose the perk of being remote. I would have to go move to Florida, which I like being in New Orleans right now. So I didn't want to do that. I was really like, okay, I need to find another position because I love this company. It's amazing. I need to find a different position that's related that I can do. And my manager, she was like, look, it sucks to lose you as a part of the team. It would suck even more to lose you a part of the company because I know you're a valued employee. That's what I'm seeing as you. So look, go look into this. And so I went go apply to that, got an interview, and I was like, all right, when should I get a call back saying I didn't get the position or I did get the position? She was like, you'll find out probably sometime next week. I went, yeah, cool. After the interview, she called me 2 minutes later offering me the position. And I
That's
went,
awesome.
so I got to stay.
So what was, and this is probably what everybody wants to hear, was the internship paid? Would they pay you for the internship? And then if you want to share with us, what is the salary with the full-time position now?
So my internship was paid. I was getting paid 20 an hour.
That's great.
Because I was an intern, I wasn't eligible for like benefits like healthcare, even
Mhm.
like commission. The full-time position, I can't tell you base pay. I would imagine it's either the same or
Mhm.
depending. I think it depends if you were what team you're on,
Yeah, yeah.
because there's SMB teams, a small medium business, and you have your enterprise team and
Mhm.
all that. So I think it really depends. But for what I was doing, I'm pretty sure base pay full time would be around the same, if not a little bit higher. But you do get the benefits part. You get to select healthcare, dental, 401k, 401k. I got pet insurance. My cat is insured now. And then you also get commission, which literally is just up to you how
So
much.
no cap on commission.
No cap on commission. I've heard stories where if you literally say if you don't even get any commission throughout the year, your base pay is probably gonna be somewhere between 40 to 60,000.
That's great.
But one of the enterprise members, they were working really hard. I think he made close to, it was like 800,000 that year
800,000 in tech sales.
because he worked his
Butt
butt
off.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got it. He got a lot of good deals. And with the nature of enterprise, your cycle that you're talking, it's so much longer, but the payoff, if it works,
Yeah.
it's gonna pay off.
Yeah. And I think it's cool to hear those stories because I do believe that will majority of people hit that? Probably not. But the fact that it is possible and somebody has done it, who's to say you're not the next or somebody else? That's great. So, one last question, we'll wrap it up. What's your advice to people that want to work remotely, that want to get a job? They've listened to this. They're like, you know what? I think I want to learn more about tech sales. I want to get involved. What's your recommendation? Should they take a boot camp training or should they just go out and apply for jobs?
Because of my situation, I would definitely say if this is something new to you, I would try to definitely look into some sort of boot camp training thing. Course Careers is a very good one. I recommend Course Careers. But that being said, you if you do have the background, and I think a part of Troy's story, the owner of Course Careers, was he landed SDR internships and stuff himself. He used to be homeless.
Oh,
It wasn't just like he was scamming, but he would go outside of a hotel during when they have a breakfast like free to eat thing, and he would walk in and get free meals, and he would, yeah, get bus
smart.
tickets. Yeah, he would go around, and then he said he realized in himself that he can figure a lot of things out, and through all this experience that he had naturally became like a good salesman because he's talking to people asking for a few bucks, but he really enjoys the conversation first. So when he saved up enough money and he started buying salesmen's books like Fanatical Prospecting, Spin Selling, How to Win Friends and Influence People, he did that all by himself. He
Wow.
learned everything he could about the field. He went go apply and he got it. He did it all by himself. So not to say that, it just goes to show you don't need a boot camp,
Yeah.
but it's definitely helpful for someone like him of that nature. Like he did it all himself. He probably knows a thing or two about the best strategy into going into this new world.
So yeah, the bottom line is no excuses, right?
Yeah.
If you want something in life, if you want to work remotely or you want to start your own online business, whatever you want to do is you got to go for it. And you have to, I say this to my audience all the time, you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. There's just no way around it. I drove for Uber and I cleaned windows. I literally went to Home Depot, bought an Home Depot bucket and went around to local businesses in Chicago and knocked on the window and said, "Can I clean your windows for 10 bucks?" And that's what I did. I went to the next one. They'd say no. I went to the next one. They say no. But guess what? The third one said yes, or the fifth one said yes. So no excuses. And then I taught myself, how to build a business online. Just like you were saying, I read books, I took training, I invested in myself. So, Destin, I really appreciate it. If you do want to learn more about Course Careers and how you can get started with this training, I know that he has some free trainings and some paid trainings. So, I'm going to put a link below in the description. You can go check it out. Dustin, you're awesome. I really appreciate it. Love your story. And I wish you nothing but the best, my friend.
I appreciate it so
All
much, man.
right. Thank you.